All right. We are back once again. As usual, get this stuff posted. Be ready to go. All right. That this new thumbnail loaded, and then be ready to go. Lovely. All right, let's get it. Looking good. Copy the Discord link. All right, now we're ready. Let's go. Gotta get comfortable. All right, so the goal tonight to build the temple of the many-faced god that we were working on. We're gonna step away from this for a little bit. Still haven't had any time to think about how these market spaces work, so I'm gonna keep thinking about this. Nothing too crazy. But still headed in a good direction. Maybe we do some of this, get some of this stuff done tonight. Wouldn't suck. Make the thumbnail look better to have it over here too, since I know I want that. But we'll be working on the temple over here, which I've got a couple ideas for. Nothing too crazy. I'm just trying to decide on how we're gonna do these little things. The current struggle is how each of these is gonna lay out. Do we want... It's mostly like, how am I creating the faces for the many-faced god? Got a lot of ideas. My wife suggested just using the bug mounts, head mounts, and I'm like, honestly, it kind of makes a lot of sense. So I want to mess with that a little bit and just figure out like how we could do that. I have a couple ideas. I'm just sort of gravitating towards putting them on these columns just because it's like the most detailed. It's not going to work as well in this. I don't hate this idea, but I'm not sure if this is quite the look I want. I love how this looks, but it doesn't work on each one. As soon as you get up to the higher levels, for some reason, it doesn't stack them properly. And that way, I mean, these are literally the many-faced bugs. So it's a very good fit, I think, is what I'm thinking so far. And we can also sort of mess with this stuff. Get a little more detail out of it. We set it up correctly. What's up, Karate Mouse? How's it going? Hope you're doing good. Yeah, I think that's the way we're gonna go. It just makes too much sense. Although I like this, I think we're gonna head the other direction. So I'm figuring out this entryway. I think I'm gonna do half of the details on the building in ash cement and half in mushroom, and sort of like continue that the theming for the House of Black and White is what this is called in Game of Thrones. Currently, that's the idea. We'll see how it goes. All is well with me as well. Doing pretty good. Can't complain, honestly. Life's busy, but could be worse. That is for sure. Also have some ideas for like some ladders and stuff on here. I don't know. Just trying to come up with like new little details that I can keep adding to these builds. Also trying to figure out like maybe some windows. Many ideas. I definitely wasn't trying to build the ladder there, but I guess that's what we did. Just kind of see how this goes. I'm not like super sure how each thing is gonna sort of work, but I'm just gonna build and kind of see how this one goes. Tends to be how things just work out best. You build it, they will come. And then the inside that I'm thinking is essentially just this is going along the whole wall, all the walls on the inside. And then there'll be bigger, I don't know, squares or something that might hold the bigger bug mounts, since not all of them are this smaller size that I'm currently using over here. So we'll see how that works as well. Trying to combine some items together, and sometimes they clip together and then a few seconds later they won't at all. Is it just random, or is the way to get stuff to combine? There's a couple. It really depends on what you're trying to do. The clipping of things in this game does tend to be a little more random and sporadic, I would say. There's sort of two fairly consistent ways that I found to make it work. One, say you're trying to place this here and it doesn't want to place. If you rotate back and forth consistently like this, a lot of the times that will turn the blueprint blue. It'll just trick the game into doing it. So sometimes like rotating quickly will allow something like that. And then the other one would be, and I found this works best when you're like trying to clip into things like this, like pre-built stuff in the game. Tends to work if you've got like, see if you can do this where the blueprint overlaps another blueprint. I think it works best if you're doing it like down. So you go up to the upper blueprint and then you go up and down like this. Instead of rotating, you're just moving it off of the block you want it on. And you can go like this, and oftentimes that'll allow you to just clip it in. Fairly random. I can't tell you there's anything that's like a for sure this will work. I don't think that's how Grounded's building works at all. But that tends to work pretty well. It's a little hit and miss though, honestly. If you haven't, you can check out my top 10 build tips on my YouTube channel. Top 10 build tips to build better in Grounded. And that will probably give you a decent idea of near the end of it. I show those off in the actual video, both of those techniques. So that if you want to see them at like in the works, check out that video. Of course. Naturally, I had an idea, and I can't think of it now. How this was going to work and why I was doing this, and now I can't remember what it was. Too distracted today. So this needs... Oops. Wrong button. What's up, Oozin? Welcome in, man. How's it going? About like furniture piece stuff, look of lamps in pots, and sometimes they go inside each other, then randomly they don't. It's pretty random. You 100% can put the pots inside, like you could put lights and stuff inside the pots. I just say it's not always the most consistent thing. Sometimes it's going to work, sometimes it's not. A lot of the times it's just persistence. Like you have to be really persistent and eventually it's going to work out. On the Discord, if you're not a part of the Discord, join that and ping Luderav. He has a handful of... He's really good at that stuff. I've done it more with the building pieces. He's done a bunch with the lighting and stuff, like pots and putting all the lamps and all that stuff inside of pots and things. And he could definitely send a couple images of like how he does it. He knows his things. Way taller. I'm not really sure how tall this thing's gonna be yet. Could be really tall, could be... That's too tall. Getting pretty big. Not bad, though. Let's just see. We'll feel it out. Do like a flat. Oh. Could bring this in, actually. Like a block. Then it's got to go one more. To the center? Yeah. Luckily, these pine cone ones look correct. I'm not sure if I want to do this angled roof, though. I'm not sure yet. Might be a flat roof. It might be... The precedent images that I'm looking at are using flat roofs. But kind of just messing with it right now to see what I like. Never quite know till you mess with it. Two houses east of me burnt down. Thankfully, the wind was blowing to the east and no damage came to my house. That would be horrible. Glad to hear you're all good. Adebody's apartment burned down about a year or two ago. Luckily, it was just a place they lived. Wasn't their actual place, but all their stuff burned. It was pretty horrible. Definitely not a good time. So happy we're finally, the weather's getting better in Central Oregon and it's not as smoky finally. It's like 27 degrees this morning. Real cold for October. It bugs me if these aren't all lined up the same. They don't look as good. Ready for winter? Seriously. I am so ready to go skiing, man. So ready. I've been craving the mountain. I'm not 100% sure if this is exactly what we're doing. It might all end up ash cement. I don't fully know yet. I'm just kind of messing with the idea of the half and half thing. Luderev wanted me to try it, so I thought, hey, you know, I might as well give it a shot, right? Could be an interesting little thing I haven't really seen before. This... I'm definitely not quite ready for summer to be over, but I am ready for the smoke and stuff to be gone. So if that means winter's got to be here, you know, I can breathe again. That's all good. I'll take it. Nice thing here is it can be like snowing outside and it's still like gonna be warm. Had to be like 6-7 degrees out before, and I'm like, actually, it's kind of nice. As long as there's no like wind chill, it can be totally fine. Oh, that's what I did. This went too hot. Like, why does this look so wrong? Oh, way too. That's what I got build happy. Should just use the roof line to do this. Then I don't have to think about it. Makes life a little easier. What are you? Nothing. What I thought. What was I doing over here? No wonder I couldn't figure out what the heck was happening. I always use the little triangles in these situations because the bigger triangles do not meet the roofs properly. They meet the crow feather roofs pretty well, but they do not meet the pine cone roofs correctly for some reason. Like this really annoying gap that we can't be having. Yes, fill that in. Call it good. Handy AF, ain't that the truth though? This thing is a game changer. It's like literally the best thing they ever added into the game. I don't hate the peaked roof, honestly. I don't hate it. Need to see this in the day though. It's looks horrible at night. Do you work and just do this in your free time? Yes. This is just my side gig at this point. I just work from 8 to 4 every day in my sales job, and then put my kid to bed at around, the hope is always around between 7 and 8. Usually ends up closer to 8 than 7, but As soon as he is down, I up on grounded and start streaming. The thought is like, probably going to be doing this either way, so I might as well stream it and chat and hang out with people than do it by myself. More fun with friends. I want to do that. Not a bad detail. Just do 4, I guess. I have one weird spot. That'll be fine though. Actually, could just put a single there. You are not supporting 4. This is... That's what I thought. Like, how? How is that working? I don't understand. I have to figure out what we're going to do for some more extra detailing on the sides. It's going to be a big wall of nothing if I just do it like this. Like, I started putting some windows in, but I'm not really sure if this is the type of build that wants any windows. But I could do, since it is pretty big, I definitely could do sort of like a interior crocodile alligator. I drive a Chevrolet movie theater. Do one of these and, like, I don't know, make a vestibule type thing. So these don't necessarily feel so open. A big part of this is I want this to be sort of like dark and creepy. It's a house of heads, essentially, you know? That's the idea behind it, at least. The yin-yang sort of works for me. I don't hate this. Can't decide if these ladders are gonna... Perfect. Guess you just have to build it to see, right? It's gotta look good on both the ash cement and the mushroom is the thing. I think I'm gonna like it more on the ash cement than the mushroom. And I'm thinking this is gonna be just a little entrance to like something down here. I don't know what yet, or just... It's always nice to be able to get out into these areas and like escape. So I like having access to these under areas, so these end up being pretty good places to do it. Not that I'm going to go up New Game Pluses and stuff anymore, I don't think, but wouldn't hurt to continue to have access to anything and everything under here. And I love secret passageways. They're just fun. Why are these all floating? It's being so weird. Just doing this. I guess I could have just moved these up. But trying to make sure antlions don't clip in anywhere. Little stinkers. Sure. Clean that up a little. And I woke up feeling like I'm in my 40s. I feel like that's how I wake up every day, man. Like I'm feeling like I got that crap kicked out of me. Going to use mounts for the heads or find a way to clip an armor stand with a helmet on it. I have messed with... I don't like that. Messed with both ideas. I'll show you in a sec. Yeah, we'll see. So I've done a couple things. There were head mounts on here. I'm either leaning towards just... One of these sides works better. Doing head mounts like this, which although it doesn't necessarily look as cool, it is probably the most accurate option in terms of like, why not? Like if we're gonna do the House of the Undying, like it makes sense to just have a bunch of bug heads, right? So I'm leaning towards this. I'm hoping I can find maybe a slightly more interesting way to sort of do this as I go. But I'm currently leaning towards something like this. I've messed with this and putting just helmets on, which works, but it also doesn't. And then I had these put in like this. Weirdly enough, they work like that. Which I was like, that's pretty cool. But unfortunately, they only work on the first three, and then it won't do the middle one again, even if that's not there. So I'm kind of giving up on that one. I think that was probably my favorite looking thing, although it would be a trillion Everchar. So I'm not like, I'm kind of happy that that one didn't quite work out. It's not only is it it's like worse than ash cement, it's twice as it's like 4 times more expensive than doing anything else. So I think I'm leaning towards the head mounts. It just makes the most sense currently. It's the only way you get many faces and everything to look slightly different. Not as interesting maybe as this would be, but there's not really a way to get these to like clip onto anything in an interesting way I've found yet. Like if they would stack or something, maybe there's a universe that I do this, but they aren't very happy with doing that. And this is almost... I don't love these as much. Just like stacks of those. They don't look bad. It's hard. It's hard to decide. That would be fun if they did that all the way up. Then I would heavily lean towards this. And maybe it's a combination too. There's a universe where... What's up, Ryder? Welcome in. Because I was kind of thinking, like... Yeah, so like this one's really big. So I was kind of thinking like maybe doing some interior columns. Figuring out how that whole design works as well. Probably something with columns of some kind. And not that, but there's a universe, and that's the hard part here, is like that doesn't even. But I'm also have the idea, could be kind of cool. That kind of works, but it's kind of weird. Definitely doesn't look as good. I could do no columns. Do like bottom level. With the face go through a wall rather than the column. Not that I know of, but depends on how much. Yeah, the hard part is I have to like stack. So then you gotta like you get it to do the same thing on the next level. Harder to do, I think. Maybe universe. Yeah, hard part. Yeah, it's just getting these to like sit properly. Come on now. Like that's so boring. Like yes, it works, but it doesn't look. I want the extra detail. I think that's why I'm leaning towards the columns, is because they just visually a lot more interesting. They stick through a painting that you could make all one color. Really like the looks of the painting. Like my issue with it is the flat wall just doesn't have enough detail for me. Like this just is it's going to be so repetitive. Whereas at least the depth of the other options is going to be interesting on its own. I don't have to come up with some ridiculous thing. The columns just look good, but we're a ways away from needing to decide, so we shall see. Ludorev said he was going to mess with some ideas this weekend as well, so if he comes up with anything interesting, we'll use that. But as I was saying, I wanted to test this. That's the issue. Kind of thinking, oh, what if I did it? Have to make it 1 3x3. Make this. Still runs into the same issue. Not quite right. Trying to figure out like some big interior columns or something that look cool. could be sort of a combination of the armor dummies and the head mounts. Like the armor dummies go on the inside with all the different helmets, and then the bug mounts go on the entire outside. Because this is essentially why this is... Curious if that column looks interesting on the outside there, sticking through the roof. So this wall steps like this, so we can just put a bunch of columns on these. And then we just send it. If we did... I could raise this whole thing up, so that's not a thing. Could also just have it end one short of the ceiling. Realistically, raising it one more makes more sense. Don't really know how I'd use those columns. Possibility, but I think if we go... these in. And move these down. Use you. I put an inverse quarter triangle mushroom. There is no quarter triangle. Saying one of these. Thing like here. Or somewhere else. Donde? Did I not have more columns? That looks fine. Now it's figuring out how we can maybe make these exterior walls more interesting as well. I have to find interesting ways to do lighting. Don't know yet. We'll see. Are you saying in that spot though? Here? Kind of works better the other way. Since the point's to see the heads. Not horrible like this, since you can see them both from that. That wouldn't be like a horrible way to do it either. To get on early and Microsoft account couldn't link, so couldn't load into builds because they are shared worlds, I guess. So I don't know how to fix that. Interesting. I don't think they're, I mean, they've definitely had shared world problems, but I'm pretty sure it's all been fixed. as far as I know. You might have to reach out to support on that one. They're creepy. Kind of cool looking though, especially once you like think of this like all done like this. Gets crazy. Kind of cool. Makes it more interesting at least, and you could still see the faces of them all, which is nice. Do little cutout shapes in the exterior wall to show the backside of the interior walls. Yeah, I'm trying to... I want this to be like a dark, creepy interior at the same time, so that's where I'm kind of struggling with, like... I don't necessarily want anything showing through, but will it at the same time? Could use maybe an entire bottom layer of ash cement as well. That would look kind of nice. May not hurt to do this as well. Across the top and just create a nice little band, and then this mushroom will stand out a little bit more. Kind of like that. And yes, I could have just moved those upper ones just over. That would have been the smart thing to do. So is life, though. And like all my old builds were there, but none of the current ones because it can't link for whatever, but might reinstall. Yeah. It's really weird, though. There definitely shouldn't be any. I know that people like a week or so ago were having some issues, but definitely haven't heard of anyone as of late having issues. Kind of interesting. I don't know. Doesn't really show through bad. Not great, but definitely don't want just a massive... Honestly, this might be better as ash cement too. Thinking about it. Yeah, I'm not sure. You're saying lights behind these? Yeah, I'm not. The lighting is going to be like, we're a long ways away from any lighting of any kind. I always worry about the lighting way at the end. So I'm not totally sure how I want this all to work with the lighting specifically. Also, get me out of there. I have to place the lighting first. We're gonna have to get like very low lighting, I think is what's gonna be in this build, if there's any. Definitely isn't gonna be like large amounts. It's gonna be pretty dark. That max. Max. Yeah, it's not too bad. Something with like the purple or something dark and creepy, I think would be probably the way to go. This isn't even where this whole thing is gonna go anyways, so. I don't know where these are getting placed specifically. And then how far they go up, what do they look like? We got a lot of things to figure out as we go. Didn't want me to start the entire pawn base, but it is. It's gonna start. Then I was like, wait, where's my buildings at? I go to playgrounds. Yeah, that's pretty annoying though. Definitely frustrating when stuff like that happens. I almost lost this whole world at one point, so I definitely know the feeling. Stressful. My wife was not. She's like, you're really annoying this week. I'm like, well, all my thousands of hours of work is potentially gone. She's like, so? Do it again. Just cry. At that point. We're not supporting 4. Get out of here. Playgrounds could be fun though. Especially for a build of that size, honestly. Not necessarily committed to any of this right now. Kind of playing with it and see how it goes. Fortunately, the ladders just don't really add that much detail. They don't look bad on this. I don't love them as much on the mushroom. Might just look cleaner without them completely. Do a flyover. See how big proportionally this thing's looking. I definitely want it to be large. I just don't want it to be too big. It's definitely big. Definitely big. Almost made this like one square too tall. It works on the inside though, that's the thing. It's always the struggle, the balance of the inside versus the outside. I like very much. Very nice. How much? Could higher. That landed in the center. It'd be way cool. That mean we go like this. Well, hot dang. Looks kind of cool. Being better if it was one higher, but I kind of like breaking it up. It just wants to be like, excuse you. More triangles, maybe. It's kind of interesting. Universe where it just looks better like that. I can live with that. Fits with the rest of the world a bit better. I don't love that it shows through still. but it's a cool enough detail. I think I'm okay with it. Like that repeated along the outside is going to make this look way cooler. Which also leads me to then not love this as much. This is where doing the split of like ash cement details on one side and mushroom on the other means like there's just nothing on this side. It's just all mushroom. So you don't get this contrast, which is what I'm currently liking about this. What's creepy? The building? The people? Or the vibe of this on the outside? Or the half and half design? I don't know. I'm leaning towards more ash cement at the moment. Maybe getting rid of this as well. The ladders. The window, yeah. Yeah, I'm liking the way that's... Dude, what? I'm liking the way that's looking so far. Would need to do this, I think. Doesn't look great. They need like a cap. Unfortunately. The flat doesn't feel right yet. You are not supporting anything. Sort of interesting. I could live with something like that. Pebble stair, like the ramp. Don't love. I guess it might work like this. Yeah. That's not horrible, actually. Because it actually works with the triangles, that's not a horrible way to cap it. Wouldn't look very good by itself. Now the question is, do I like that or this more? The issue is like this is then not going to work anymore with that design. But does that look good enough? I mean, at least with this one, you can actually see it is the only thing that I'm leaning towards right now. You can't even really tell that's pebble unless you're like way up here. It's a more simple way to go. Just don't like that you can't cover the back of them. Go like this, that would be perfect. I would probably go with this if I could do that. But since I can't do that here without ending up with a random pebble thing or having to put an entire layer here, makes me slightly not want to go that route. Definitely feel like the ladders are maybe overkill on the detail as well. Sometimes simple is the way to go. Hold on a second. That's an interesting detail that I've never messed with. Can this then... Can't put the single pieces on an angle though. Stinky part. Never understood why base can't stay on side of walls. You're just saying like the inside of this thing I was talking about, I'm guessing. Like you can, it's really weird why the side of it works, but you can't do it on the back of the foundation pieces, unfortunately. I have no clue what I'm going to use this for, but I definitely want to use it for something. That looks really interesting. Can even be like ash cement may look way cooler too. I've never seen those in the corner like that. I don't know how I never did that before. Could create some interesting, very interesting stuff with this. Okay. That's kind of cool. We'll mess with that later. No clue what we're going to use it for, but it's interesting. It's funny. Some of my favorite random... like, build ideas have come specifically from doing exactly what I'm doing here. Like, taking parts and just stacking them, and then I randomly, on accident, make something weird. And I'm like, I didn't even know that that could do that. How is that possible? Just trying to figure out what this outside area is as well. Oh, well, if it isn't Timber effing Builds, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome in, Franklin. Welcome in, welcome in. After my much-needed night off yesterday, we are back at it. Back at it with the white vines, Daniel. And we're already doing weird stuff. Gotta be inside, yeah. Concrete definitely works better with the stairs, yeah. I concur. Well, something's really interesting with this. I'm gonna have to find something cool to do with it. Timber, timber, timber. Y'all are too kind. I'll be here most days of the week. I'm also leaning towards this, although I don't hate the pebble foundation idea. Just leaning towards this because it does fit the aesthetic of like everything else in the build a lot better. My aunt doing over there? This guy, dude. This is why I put this dude at home. Because he's always screwing around. He just thinks he can hop in any old teleporter and go wherever he wants, whenever he wants. I don't think that's how it works, bud. I'll let my dog just roam around the neighborhood just because he feels like it. How rude. Okay, I definitely like this. The question is, it like every 2? We did that. Like 2 apart. Instead of counting, I like to visually do this. Harder to screw up. And that leaves me either, what do we have? 1 space there, so that would want this. That would mean this whole thing has to move, which could just be one whole thing shorter, I guess. Could end like here. Still a pretty big space. Weed walls where? Make an organized line. You want your autographs? Get in line, everyone. In my dreams. I think 2 is probably the right. Two's probably the way to go. With stairs? What are you talking about? I need more context. Saying like here? Like on the side of that thing? Or what stairs? And these are the only stairs I got. A tube city? I mean, that's what we're going to be making in Subnautica, you know? Once Subnautica 2 comes out, dang it. Once Subnautica 2 comes out, we'll be building Tube City. Tube City. It'll be great. Alright, there's a universe. Where we keep this. Maybe it's just the front. Maybe it's just the front and the back have that black and white feature. And not the sides. The sides kind of get their single treatment. I mean, there it is. It's interesting. I just don't know what I would use it for in this build yet. The ladders? What are you calling stairs? Like, that's not actually going there. This is just now a test piece. Not sure if I want these windows either. Lord. That would help. Great thing is we're going to be able to build for a while without having to go gather anything. Done a lot of collecting the past couple days. The real question is, I'm not sure if I want to do this every single piece. I think we might need to break this up a bit. Might be too repetitive to do like the entire thing, but that is how the Game of Thrones thing is, so it might just look good to do it. We'll have to try to test that out. You never quite know until you get it. Repetitive is good, but also it might just need every, like in between those windows, might just need like a, just break it up a bit. Maybe that's boring though. Could even be issue. Oh, there is a center one. No, that's just 2 blocks. Never mind. Not really a central place to do that, but we'll have to see. Doesn't necessarily have to line up with the outside. It just looks a little funky because you can see through these. No, you're all good. All good, Pepe. It's me, it's always hard to follow other people's. It's like I tend to be looking at completely different things than what people might think I'm looking at. So more context just makes it easier for me to understand. I'm also a very, 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 very visual person, so like reading something can be really hard for my brain to like process. It's just like, what are you talking about? You're not supporting 4 things. Rude. I think I can sleep now. This ant needs to go in there. Leave me alone. The ants are great for collecting stuff, but man, are they always in the way. Just heavily, heavily leaning towards the ash cement. Ash cement. Just looks more interesting. It's hard to tell. Ah, that's what it was. The ladders. Yeah. I was like straight upstairs. Is that like an elevator? Catch you live again. Timber's been busy adulting. Shall say no more here for the building, my man. Yeah. This month specifically is just, it's a lot. With no regular daycare at the moment, it's like every day is a battle. Like a normal day of my job, not that stressful, not that difficult. I have very low stress job. There are definitely days where it's busy and stuff, but it's never like, there's days that are annoying, that not necessarily days that are hard. So I'm very lucky in that sense, but not having childcare on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays is like, it's exhausting. Trying to get a day's work done and take care of a kid that is currently a psychopath. In the best way possible, he's a psychopath, but he's a psychopath. Dude is nuts right now. He's like, I can walk and I can get into everything and do whatever I want. So it gets a little hectic during the day. And then my wife was at a trivia night with some of her friends, so I was like, you know, I'm going to take a night off. This sounds like a great night to do it. Got the kiddo all by myself. I also really didn't want him like waking up in the middle of stream and then having to go like put him back down was the main thing. Because that could be 30 seconds or 40 minutes. So I was like, that just doesn't really make sense. That's a quick way to just ruin a stream. Is like have to leave and put him back down if he wakes up at all at any point. Yeah, so something we didn't test. Oh, goodness. Something we didn't test is pressing the right button. Could do ash cement vertical walls, which I didn't mess with. It would definitely give it a darker vibe, which I don't necessarily hate. Would definitely break up the walls. The question is, do I like it more? I don't know. Let's test it here then. See how it looks on the outside. We got all this ash cement I've been collecting, so we might as well just use every bit of it, right? 311. I haven't even processed a bunch of it either. Do I like it more? Kind of like it on the outside ones. Don't necessarily like it on the inside as much. Naturally, I always like the skinnier side. That looks way better than the fat, but then the fat side's on the inside, so one of them is going to look not the way I want it. I hate the fat side of this. just looks better. Why are they not the same? Why you gotta do with me like that, devs? Could alternating. Oh, it's a possibility. Just have to make sure that this all properly. Outer areas. Definitely would help with the repetitiveness. Ooh, I do kind of like that. Question is can we, it should all line up, I believe, correctly. Yeah. That actually looks nice here as well. Sort of creates almost the window effect, which I kind of like. Whereas like this is a little, just kind of, doesn't quite feel like a window as much. Dude, that's just enough detail that I kind of like that more. And it's just enough in here that like it already looks less, like this is so repetitive, which I'm not liking, but that actually looks really nice. Very simple little change. Sometimes it's the smallest little material changes. Really go a long way. Kind of helps it feel like this is maybe like some structure as well. And you know, that ash cement, like I'm saying, was just burning a hole in my pocket. Don't want to have any extra ash cement sitting around. Okay. Probably leave that one as is. That looks so much better already. 100% better. It's just enough detail. I really like that. Yeah. Heading in the right direction here. Still not sure about this. Could do... columns up. Fire. Seems like overkill though. Just wish there was a way to like emphasize the mushroom. The low-key trim I mean. Oh, ash definitely gets my vote on the exterior in the mushroom, but having the sides, yeah. I like it too. It's just enough detail. Just enough. Although, honestly, now that I'm looking at this from the outside, this might actually look better as ash cement. Those. Oh. I swap. Hey, get back here. Just gonna keep adding stuff till it looks the way I want. The half walls on the windows for concrete? Are you saying these ones? Figure out what to do with this dead end, though. I didn't like it. I do prefer the mushroom in the center. That was what I did at the first bit, and I didn't like it as much. I like a bit of both, currently. That wasn't right. Sure, go wherever you want, block. Love just seeing the infused bees just like flying around. Like, I'm never gonna kill this thing. They're so annoying. That get up here. It was just too much ash cement as well. Like, I kind of like that this frames the mushroom in the middle, and then I like the breakup currently. Like, all ash cement and all mushroom, it's too much of each thing currently. So it definitely needs to be like a good mix of both is all. But that was what I did like right at the very beginning when I was messing with those. What's next? Window, okay. It's a fine balance of using the ash cement and stuff. You can definitely go too far very easily. It does make a mushroom cross, yeah. Which is good, because it's like a temple for gods, but just some creepy ones. Might be too much, I don't know yet. Could continue the mushroom versus ash, though, as well. It's currently where my head's stuck, is if I keep that theme idea or not. Need a way to, like, separate that better, but I don't know. I'm gonna forget this thing is here. It's like a little ramp. You just kill someone. I'm also trying to figure out, I had an idea earlier of like statues or something to put in here. I just can't, it's beyond me now, what I was thinking. Maybe it'll come to me later. Too small. Too small as well. It's huge. Maybe not a bad spot for. Feel dirty saying yoked girth. It's not bad, actually. I think that's kind of what I was thinking. I just wasn't totally sure yet. I like having like some little stuff in here. This also could just be like someplace you can walk and stand on. Do like a some little thing like this. Issues getting on. Good. Something like that. I don't know if it's necessary. That makes weird stuff with the floors that I can't really fix as well, so I think I leave that. think I can sleep, can I? Let me sleep. How am I supposed to wait a whole minute? Impossible. We're heading in the right direction, though. I'm already enjoying the way this is headed. Many things to figure out still, but... Question is, like... Start seeing the scale of this. Is it too big? Definitely, I want it to be big, but I don't want it to hide everything in this area. Pretty stinking huge building right now. The issue is that, like, the proportions on the inside feel correct. Kind of always the struggle of, like... getting the inside versus the outside correct. That's also where maybe doing a flat roof might sort of help knock down the height of this just enough. It could even, like, stop here, honestly. And do something more like this. I don't hate that. Originally, I was thinking more of a flat building. Square, not like no peaked roofs at all. That does lend itself to more of what I was thinking. We just gotta try it and see. Not too hard to redo this little section. If we hate it. From the beginning, though, I was kind of not loving this peaked roof. I just kind of sent it. Sometimes you just gotta send it. I said, who can wait a minute? Because I knew I was going to get distracted doing something, and then now it's even later. Hello? Can you go in that spot? Alright, let's see it. This wants to go lower if we're doing that. Which again, I don't hate the idea of maybe one lower. Quickly to sleep. Oh no. Oh. This can be my respawn point. I don't really. Can't remember the last time I accidentally pressed that. It'll definitely feel like a less oppressive building. I want it to be big, but it's got to like scale. Got to fit the scale correctly. Where currently it's feeling just too big. I like this height. I'm not, the roof is what's getting me currently. This feels like very good city scaling since it's not as big as the massive temple. It's meant to be sort of like a smaller little like one-off temple thing in the whole world, or in this whole like city. Not meant to be like if you think of the main temple would be where like the main like source of religion is, but then there's all the miniature like smaller one-off religions that fall in between that. Means there's none of these. That's fine. Go pick up all this junk. Honestly, originally my idea was like a completely flat roof, similar to the precedent image that I'm currently working off of. So, you aren't supporting anything. Get out of here. There we go. About to say, if that tries to tell me it's supporting something. I'm leaning towards potentially doing, so like how this comes across, maybe some kind of line across, or even taking like these and creating a little, just do it. You never know till you try. This is definitely a time I wish these sort of visually synced together the way Mushroom does. There's no like extra seam, but kind of feeling like a detail that's currently lacking a little detail in this area. Helps, definitely helps potentially like tie this in together. This roof is what's... I didn't hate how it looked with the peaked roof, it just feels so big. There's got to be a big build, but it can't overshadow anything else, is the main thing that I'm worried about. It's definitely not meant to be the biggest build in the area. Like, this still needs to be the centerpiece. This still needs to be a big portion of it. This just wants to feel maybe somewhere around here. Then we can create some interesting stairs here. And create some fun stuff on this side without making it this massive building. Alright, let's destroy all this and go clean this up. Gotta keep a tidy home. Alright, guess we have to just run out there.
I'm burning up.
Do not currently have my teleporter set up to this area. I probably need to go change. Whoa. Nothing like autosave, leg. It's always a good time. Definitely a way to make this door feel better as well. We'll have to mess with that. The entrances are definitely not done yet. But the other side of the concrete middle walls to the outside. 1 sec. What am I hearing my aunt right now? I didn't take you out. You're gonna get something destroyed. Where is he? Why is he not showing up on my screen? How are you out here? What? That doesn't even make sense. I haven't brought that one with me anywhere in a while. Don't understand. They're always trying to escape. Storage is here. Okay. Let the other side of the concrete middle walls to the outside. Huh? Where? Donde? Side of concrete 2. Like these middle walls? Do what with these? Yeah. What are you saying to do with them? I didn't get what that meant. Let the other side. You're just saying do this? I could do ash cement. I like the contrast though. I want it to have some contrast. I want all ash cement. I'm gonna do this 50-50 thing. I have to do it, but roll? Roll what? What you mean? What you mean? Much to figure out still. Much to figure out still. No. Whoa. Okay. Oh. Little by little. It's definitely another thing that I really like to do that I probably don't talk about. I love going like from the inside to the outside to the inside to the outside and like switching back and forth a lot. Really helps break up like my mind. Like not look at one thing for too long. A lot of the times making a good decision for the inside of the build will help just automatically make a good decision for the outside of the build, or make the decision potentially that you might be struggling with for you, which is always nice. Gosh, I almost like... Well, I don't hate this. This height's a little bit better. I like these sticking up past it. Still don't know how I feel about the windows. Maybe it just needs more windows, like more of these little slit windows, and that's an option. Could very easily do a handful of these slit windows. Which with that is then we got to get double thickness here. Which could work. We could make that work. Guess don't need that. Don't overthink it. Not sure if that's really doing anything. Especially because I want this to be so, like, dark. The inside really wants to be, like, dark and foreboding. Now, maybe if this is the detail... Maybe they're just recessed portions. Maybe they aren't, like, windows? Could be something. Stick that top edge to the bottom edge is to let those pointing to the outside. Oh, you're saying flip it. Like that. Yeah, it's not bad. Same diff. These out my way. The more I mess with the ash cement, the less I like the like 50-50 split of materials. Although I like the idea of it, I'm not liking the execution of it as much. Unless it was like a complete 50-50. I did literally half and half, and I don't love that. Doesn't feel right. Needs the contrast. I think the only way I can get away with it is just like the towers. No worries, man. We have all been there. I love making fun of my wife because she's vocabulary challenged. So she always does that where she's like trying to say something and I'm like, what are you trying to say? Who? What? I always have to give her some crap. It's the only time I really can because she's way smarter than I am. I don't know where I'm going to use this, but I really want to use this somewhere. I just have no clue for what yet. So like these shadow box things aren't bad. Could be another detail that sticks to this, like the dark and light sides of this. Almost needs to be all cement. Mushroom. Gonna make it look like it has like little eyes though is the issue. These had a centerpiece, I think that would be better. I don't hate it, but I don't love it yet. There could be a verse where it's like goes inwards or something. Yep. Man, I wish upon a star. That should go. Yeah. This is a detail I used on my tower, which I don't hate. Same way here. If you can find a way to hide the stuff behind it, it's kind of a fun one. It's the only way you can get like an angled half or quarter block. Could do something. If I'm going to do this like emphasis on half and half sort of look, I kind of feel like I have to like fully commit to it. Or like, could then... Okay, just take this one. That's kind of interesting. Wish these didn't have so many lines. Could also do this to sort of get rid of that. That's chunky though. It looks so chunky. Feels so thick. It's because it like sticks out just slightly further than those. It makes it feel like look how close that hits like right in the corner. This is like way out in it. I guess it's like as if this block, but it just looks so big. You know, I'm about to change my stinking times. I hate how quick it becomes night, but I love that the resources spawn so much quicker. By swapping the middle pillars on the front, like dark ones, takes the place of the light ones. You're saying like move these over or something? The whole reason I'm messing with this is the concept of this build. If you haven't seen Game of Thrones, there's a house of black and white, and it's sort of this like yin and yang. The front door is half's white, half's black, and that's sort of the theming of the whole thing. And so I'm trying to utilize that concept and how I can best make that thematically work. Where I've never really done anything where like half is one material, half is the other. So if I'm going to make it work, I kind of want it to work that way. If not, I'm just going to make the whole thing ash cement, honestly. So at the moment, I'm leaving it like this just because that's sort of how the idea is supposed to work in my head. If it doesn't, then I'm just going to go crazy with ash cement and do all of this on both sides, and we'll have a good time. I don't know if the windows are necessary. Kind of make it look good though now that I'm looking at it. Hard to say. Thing like this and that could look interesting. It's definitely an idea. And there's like so much crossovers. I don't know. Okay, sun. Why do you look so weird? Only at this time of day. I think it would look good to like swap those though, so I don't disagree with you. We did. In terms of like potentially utilizing that idea. feel so uneven is the issue. Leaves one side feeling really heavy and the other side feeling really light. Either got to be that or not. Hey. I think it's just these big walls I don't really like. Wanting to find a way to make these doors look better. I like the thought process behind it. I don't currently like how they look. They feel very flat. Like, I like that. But it makes me want to maybe do that swap thing. So I don't know yet. It's definitely something I'm going to have to mess with. Don't you worry. You had a good idea. I just got to figure out how mentally I want to adjust things. This stupid thing out of the way. Need to build that like somewhere else. And destroy all this too. I was like, please destroy everything. I don't love how the slit window things are looking since I don't want them to actually be windows. I don't really like them being there as much. Right? Could go there. There. Well, there's some pattern in here that works with this. Also, could do every time I destroy these things. Slightly too subtle. What was I thinking? This? Is that what I was thinking? Too many things going on in my head. That also looks pretty nice. I don't know. It needs their patterns with it, so we'll see. It does open up the possibility of starting to go crazy with little triangles as well. Which I'm always a fan of. I could make this centerpiece feel... Of course, it's not on this side. Sounds good, man. Thanks for hanging out. Appreciate it. Have a great rest of your night. I might switch these. Just not there mentally yet, but that might happen. Honestly, I think maybe replicating this might be kind of cool. Hopefully I'll catch you on the next one, though. I really like kind of continuations of theming as much as I possibly can. So if you take this... Then it doesn't necessarily need to be columns, since columns won't work here the same way. But it allows us to this, and then further down to keep the same size, so 2 separating. And then that would make me want to... I'm all for little details like that. I think that works. Could move it up or down one as well. Would sort of tie this in a little bit better, which would be nice. I want these doors to feel less flat at the moment. I need some depth to them a little. That's the main thing I'm struggling with. Still feels... Centerpiece at least makes them feel more a door. Maybe like you have to pick your path. The dark side or the light side. Honestly, this might look really good swapped. Hard to say. What I'm thinking right now is, does this look better this height? Without this block? Doesn't really match the pattern as well that I am working with. Prefer the consistency. This essentially recreating the same pattern. But it's a little weird with those. Technically, that is how these windows look. They're just sitting on there, so a little different, but it's also, it works. Question is, how do we make that work on the inside? Because that's gonna look super weird. We got all sorts of funkiness going on. Actually, that could be kind of cool. Just a little thing, but... Interesting. Could keep the ash cement thing going on the inside as well, but I think more uniform here is probably what I'm going to be going for. Still need to figure out how I feel about this roof. It's a much better height where it currently is. Definitely looking interesting though. I'm liking where we're headed. Which is typically all I really care about. As long as we're headed in a direction where I'm like, this is starting to look interesting, keeps me really engaged and excited about the build. Whether the details stay exactly like that is never really important. Just messing with the shape of this thing because I'm trying to make this fit so you can actually walk through here, because this ended up being a little bit bigger than I originally planned. Like usual, but I swear there was a blueprint down. No. Perfect. Love when that works. I don't have to completely redo it. Yeah, this height feels really nice. This is exactly the height that I was kind of looking for. Like, not a huge building, but something that feels a decent size overall. Compared to some decent sized houses, this will still be taller overall, but it's not going to be like ridiculous. This is going to be weird though. Well, that might have to change, but we'll see. I need to get a teleporter in here and close this thing off so I don't have to worry about that guy. I don't think he comes over to this side very often, but you never know. Quite disappointed that I didn't get that one to live underneath the this foundation. I think I got the second one that lives around here though. Oh, there he is. Somehow he's floating inside of it. That's not quite right.
Black ant here, black ant there, black ants get everywhere.
This guy, oh, this guy does still attack. Okay, good to know. Oops. Oh no! I mean, in terms of things that can get you on this, in the sandbox now, there's only like 3 or 4 antlions that really are annoying. Not much I can do about it at this point, just the way I've done this whole thing. So, I mean, that's kind of, is what it is. I'll just go kill them all before I do a base tour real quick, and then have to worry about it. Won't make a big deal. Take a second. I wanted to get these done today. Hello? All right, there we go. I have a feeling these are all going to have lights and stuff on the inside of these as well. I just haven't really messed with it yet. This looks so nice. Definitely happy with this little detail. I've been wanting to use this sprig thing for this idea for a long time, but I just haven't found a way to make it structurally support itself properly because they don't work the way I was hoping. But it is working. Okay, we'll get those all built. This just right on the crease there. I'm going to come up with some other cool ideas to use these things on. They're a really clean little detail. What's up, Kanye? Easy in the house. Thank you, though, man. Appreciate it. Definitely having fun with this one. What is happening? Get all this lighting in. This will look way better. Funny enough, this isn't even what I've been working on all night. This is just a random thing I just wanted to hop over and do for 5 minutes. Felt like a good time to get it done. Keep procrastinating. These things are really annoying to build, though. I will say that much. You move for even a millisecond, you're not hitting it. Easy to mess up. Or if you get an autosave in the middle of trying to quick build. That seems to do it too. Just got your comment. How long have you been playing for in terms of like total or just the stream? Those are widely different answers. Total, there's 2,364 days in this world. It's pretty much the only world I played on. I played multiplayer with some friends for a little while, but that didn't last more than a month or so, if that, a couple weeks. And I want full hardcore solo build. And I can show you why I have that many days here in a second. Build is massive. Seeing a very small portion here. Current goal is to fill up every inch of the sandbox, which we're pretty dang close to doing, honestly. Lovely. So much better. I'll find a way to maybe make this throughout here as well, but... Alright, let's make this daytime. Detail too. I just thought about a second ago. Alright. If you haven't seen the whole build, we have our main work area. This is gonna be a big marketplace. So each one of these will get like its own little shopping stall thing for different things to be sold. Pretty much along the whole thing, maybe on both sides, I don't know yet. The main castle, Wizard's Tower, the Great Hall building is what's in here. This is a temple for people who subscribe to the channel on YouTube or Twitch. They get their name in there. Got a little observatory, telescope, tower thing. This is all going to be housing throughout. This is what we're working on. This is what we've been doing tonight. Getting this building set up. If you've seen Game of Thrones, it's the House of the Undying, or the House of White and Black. So there will be like head mounts all throughout here with all the houses, the mini faces, or the mini face god. The random build idea I came up with, the copy. Got a big cathedral. There's like a little church thing. I built the starts of the this sort of housing will be all throughout this everything around here, so it'll fill up the rest of the space in between all these buildings. Got the bathhouse build. Got the garden pot build. And the barracks. So it's like an armory, a stuffed bug, flying mount, stables. And that's not even the inside of them. It's insane. I do hear that quite a bit. Yeah, we've gone a little crazy. But yeah, the insides are just as good as the outsides at this point. And we're slowly just filling the entire sandbox up little by little. There'll be houses throughout here. Probably getting rid of this and adding more houses in here. The temple build. This was a lot of fun. Turned out really sleek. Nice and clean little build here. Expensive though. Many ash cements were used because this is all still survival. I have a few custom settings set up, but for the most part, it's all I've done is increase the respawn times for different resources and then turned off the faction raids and turned the handy net on. Detail's my thing though. That's what we do here. This was a pretty recent build as well. Having fun. We still have a long ways to go. It feels like we're getting close, but the housing districts take a long time to get laid out properly. It's been fun though. It's been a lot of fun. Dang near endless content loop is what it's been. And then we're gonna cry when it's done because I've been working on this for like a year or two now. I have to go back and see when I made the very first video on this. Hey, Zephyr, welcome in. Just in time. Probably quitting here around 10:30, so 20 minutes or so. Yeah, another 20 minutes or so is typically the plan. Fridays I tend to stream a little longer and later, but weeknights right now are busy. If I stream all night, then I won't get anything ready for tomorrow morning, and my morning will be horrible. I don't know if I like those yet. I gotta figure out this detail. I like some part of it, but I'm not obsessed with every part of it. Maybe keep building this side. Get to the other side tomorrow. I do think it's going to want to end somewhere around here. I don't want it like too close to this build, but I'm also thinking of potentially changing this little area out a bit. So it might work out. I kind of have to figure out how this whole thing's going to work. Just got home from taking my girl to the train station. I'm gonna be playing Grounded for a little bit until I go to work. Nice. Join the building. The more the merrier. Hello? Get in your home. It's when I put them in the right spot and not on the other side of the wall. So tired. This is my 10th shift in. I've been working since last Wednesday. Every shift has been 11 or 12-hour gap. Ugh. That is one perk of my job is days are pretty easy. Short and fairly easy most days. Specifically why I took the job. I was working in medical sales and it was horrible. I was on call all the time. Like near endless. Hated it. Being on call for 2 years made me absolutely hate working like anything that's not a normal job. 9 to 5 at least. If it was my thing, it'd be totally different. But working for a company where no one respects your time is never fun. Or you just have super long hours. I started work at like 5. I had to leave at 5 and get there at 6 every time. I go, but earned another sub. Hey, thank you. I appreciate that. We stream every Monday through Friday. I usually miss one day a week typically. But that is my Discord as well. If you like building, you want to talk building, Grounded, there's other games that lots of people play in there as well. There's chats for each building type game. It's a great place to chill, shoot ideas off of other people, ask questions about building. There's some other really cool builds that are going on in that Discord as well. More than just mine. My stuff's pretty cool, but there's some really, really cool other stuff. Lots of stuff that's inspired me. So if you like building, definitely join that. Alrighty. Question. We probably recreate the same concept. On this side, 1-1. Yep. Just a mushroom wall. Hello, how's it going? I'm trying that bridge advice you gave me and it's looking better. Nice. If you check out the Discord, Luderev posted a bit of his bridge. Oof, thing is nuts. That would give you some inspiration. Because that thing's crazy. It's crazy suspension bridge. I'm always amazed at how many people build really cool bridges. I'm always like, it's a daunting task. They're really hard to build. You have to build them at such a large scale that it makes it a bit difficult. It's a lot of detail to make them not look like just floating planks. But pretty much every single bridge I've seen is really cool. Definitely keep posting pictures of it, though. I definitely want to keep seeing where it goes. All right, we are coming together. I am definitely enjoying where this build is heading. Really cool. Okay, that's all right. It's just one piece. Doing good though. This build's coming together really well. Already really enjoying it. Here's me how the full ash walls, half walls, and quarter walls all take 1 cement. Yeah. The economy of ash cement has always been a little funky. There are moments. I think. Whoa! What are you doing up, Velocity? Holy cow, man! Welcome in. I think the struggle is that they made ash cement walls. They had half walls and full walls, and they made them one, which was always a little weird, but then retroactively added all the quarter and like vertical walls, and so it was like, well, how do you like change that economy that you've already had in the game for so long? Definitely is a little funky for sure. Kind of a tough one to figure out, because then they would have to completely change the drop rates, which I would have been totally fine with. I think you should get way more ash cement. There either needs to drop more or it needs to make more. I would have preferred you get double the ash cement, but you had to put weed stems, since there's literally weed stems in these, like, to offset the cost of like ash cement isn't as expensive because it takes like 1 or 2 weed stems per wall. I would much prefer that. How's life going, Velocity? Been a minute since we heard from you. Guessing you are busy. I know the feeling. But I get to go to Mexico at the end of the month, or on the 10th of November, so I'm really pumped. So excited. I want that edge on the left side, I think. Not that it really matters, but for consistency's sake, you know. Yeah, I still would be very happy if they adjusted the whole economy of ash cement. I don't have to worry about it all that much because I have all the resource rates sped up so much, but it's like anyone that doesn't, it's pretty miserable. Pretty miserable. Oh, my back. If no one noticed, I'm pretty consistently standing while streaming now, so I get more tired. My body is, by the end of the stream, is like, dude, why are you standing so much? What is wrong with you? Why would you do this? But it makes my back feel so much better. My legs and stuff hurt by the end of the stream, but it's worth it. Don't become 30 of any age at any time point in your life. Everything goes downhill. Your body just starts hating you. Just says no more. I think we will want more faces here. Actually, this works perfect. Just do a bit more. Dang it. Trying to go through the wall. Don't feel like that should actually be able to go through like that. That was weird. Perfect. Figure that out. Okay. Do some interesting detail here, or I could just fill it. No. Except, of course, that doesn't. Dang you. Slowly figure out what we're doing here. Go, go, go. Try to get as much of this done tonight as possible. The next 5 minutes. The skinny side on the inside here, don't I? Yeah. Could easily bring that down. Sort of fill in these gaps a little bit. Allows for some interesting patterns as well. Yeah. Start adding in more and more details on these walls. Now this is where we totally let go of the precedent images that I'm working with. They have very specific things, but now once I'm get to this point, I kind of just go with what feels right. Doesn't have to be anything specific. If it looks good, it looks good, is the way I think of it at this point. That does make these want to be ash cement, so we could do this. Continue the faces. We're definitely gonna have way too many, so I'm gonna have to do like a bunch of duplicate bug mounts. I mean, like, I don't think there's that many. Luckily, there's multiple types of each, even though they do look really similar. I don't necessarily want there to be like a ton of rhyme or reason to that specifically. I think random is going to be a good choice. It'll make it, as long as there's not two of the same thing next to each other, the randomness will make it a lot harder to tell that we fudged it a little bit. Definitely mess with his door entryway a little bit more too. Doesn't necessarily need to go out. There could be some more fun details. It's coming together though. Definitely coming together. There'll be so many faces. It's like I almost think that it'll be it'll be overwhelming having this many, but I think once we get these sort of placed out incrementally in here, it'll visually break up everything so much because you'll be standing here and only seeing a little bit of the faces and a little bit of the faces, and then you'll be getting the sort of armor dummy column things, which will be their own thing as well, and the lighting and stuff. So I think it'll be enough to like break up the ridiculousness of how many like head mounts there are going to be in this place, because it's going to be a lot. An absolute crazy amount. That fits better. If they ever release the scarecrows, I'd be happy to. Apparently it is not happening this week, sadly. Pretty sure at this point it's not going to matter because the scarecrow, as long as I can unlock it, I'm going to be okay. I'm going to be really frustrated though if they make it so you can't. Like, you're not going to be able to use the scarecrow really at all. Unfortunately, it's going to be, at least from the way I can understand it, it's going to be like the Christmas tree, so it drops stuff during December and no other time, which is kind of unfortunate, but this is what it is, right? Not much you can do. Why are these bigger? I never understood that. Qué triste. Again, the spiders too. Lame. I need more face options. This one section has almost used the vast majority of the options we're going to have, so that's good. You can kind of get the idea now, though, at least. We're heading in the right direction. Gonna be faces, that's for sure. Alright, go make a day. Take one last look at this, and then we'll probably call it here. It's not perfect. There's still a universe where Ludorev breaks the game with the armor dummies, and I might use those instead. But at this moment in time, I think the head mounts make the most sense in terms of like the story that I'm trying to tell with the god, the many-faced god. It just fits like it does. It just makes sense. My wife was dead on when she came up with that idea. So it's one of those, like, probably going to have to go that route. Realistically. Just makes sense. Is that bigger? Ugh, So annoying. It's just bigger. Not really. Why is it bigger? How lame. What a waste. Oh, jeez. I'm gonna do that so many times. I'm happy to have the scarecrow, though. I don't really have any use for it at the moment. In any of my builds, but it's not to say that there won't be ideas that will be found very quickly. In a perfect world, when we finish the entire inside, as long as my world is still working and there's not, like, we haven't completely transitioned to some other game, I have an idea for a massive build that goes here, and then I would love to create, like, farming villages on the outside of this. I think that would be really cool, because you could utilize this as, like, a lake to build around. And then out here, you can build totally on separate grids. Like, I could build every single house on its own, absolute own grid. And I liked the idea of maybe utilizing grass and some other materials and stuff. So we could, like, this way it would be like, oh, there's a hut out here. There's a hut over here. There's, like, just have fun, like, dropping these all over the side of this whole sandbox thing. As if, like, this is the main kingdom and the main city, and then slowly as you get further out, there's, like, smaller villages and farms and stuff. So we just create little villages, and it'd be a good time to mess with some other materials that I don't typically use with, like, stem and grass. I think those would be nice fitting little things to do. And then this would be just a massive... Game of Thrones has a dragon pit, and so the idea would be essentially a bug zoo down here. So make this massive, massive. It's like one of the biggest things I would ever create in this game, like individual builds. Do that, and then for the video's sake, I would teleport all the bugs in, even though they despawn after 13 days or however long their spawn timer is. But I could still get a video with them all in it, and then have them despawn later. Which I think could be pretty fun. That's currently one of the ideas that I'm messing with. Essentially, we got to stay busy until the next Enshrouded update and Subnautica 2 goes into early access. That's really what we're waiting for, if I'm being honest. Wrong side. That way. Alrighty. I'm going to call it here. It is now 10:30. Appreciate everyone hanging out for the night. Hope you guys have a great one. I should be live tomorrow. Again, everyone join that Discord. Hang out, ask questions. It's a great place to be. But with that, I'm going to call it here.